Okay, guys, here's part two. Last time we made the flow chart, and it doesn't even fit on a full screen for me. I gotta scroll to see it all. So if you didn't watch that, you should totally go back and watch that video. But this time we're gonna write the program, and we're gonna talk about how to do yeses and nos on if statements when there's lots of things to do in there. And so we're gonna jump into it. So I have already done the first 2 or 3 steps for us. And if you could copy that, if you would like to, totally fine. But we're going to now push on and keep going. The first things I did was to ask how many adults there are, and I put that in a variable called adult text. And then I made a number called adults, and I'm just going to take whatever they tell me how many adults there are and just stick it in there. I did the same thing with the number of children. And so now we're going to make an integer called adult cost and set it to, like, I don't know, 5. And then child cost and set it to 5. Now, you don't always have to set your variables when you make them, but sometimes Java causes problems, especially when you're starting to do if statements. So I would recommend that you always just, when you make a variable, just give it something to start with. It probably won't stay that way. I know it won't stay that way for us, but you could give it a starting value just for safe programming. So the first thing we're going to ask is the child, or are there children? Is children greater than 0? And so the way we do that in programming, which we did a little bit last time, is we're going to say is children greater than 0? If yes, then we want to give it a little curly bracket, and we'll put a closing bracket for when we're done with the yes part of the question. And then we can do all of our code inside these curly brackets. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to set adult cost to be 75. And we'll set child cost to be 50. Oh, I think I did that backwards. Let me check. Adult cost 75, but on the problem statement, oh man, I messed up the example. I'm so sorry, guys. It's 50 per adult and 75 per child. Okay, we're gonna fix it. It's cool. That's why we go and like check our work and debug, right? I'm so sorry I messed that up on the other video. So 50 cost per child, or adult, 75 per child. But we fixed it now, and honestly, it doesn't really matter because it's just an example. So, but we want to do our best work whenever we can. So, oh, but up here I have a thing. I put child cost instead of child text. Okay, back to work. We're good. And we're going to do option pane, show message dialog. We always put null in the beginning, and our message is we'll have an outdoor session. There we go. Now, if it's no, then we want to say else. So, like when your parents say, clean your room or else, then that just means that if you don't choose to clean your room, there is something else that will happen. So for us, else statements are just the way to say, no, whatever you asked about didn't happen. And it's not required. The one down here that we do later on, we don't have a no option, and so we won't have to do anything for it. But if you want a no option, this is how to do it. So you say else, and then we can say, let's set the adult cost to 40. And we can set the child cost to 40 as well. And then we're done with that. We want to print, and I can just copy and paste. You will have an outdoor session. There we go. So now, done with that piece from our flowchart, and now we're going to ask the question, is adult plus child, or I guess we called it children, is it greater than 4? And if yes, we're going to put our brackets. So what do we want to do if it is greater than 4? Well, we want to say, we want to add $5 both child and adult costs. So child cost is child costs plus 5. And adult cost is adult cost plus 5. And so this is a yes. We have added our $5 to both. But either way, now we're going to determine our total cost. So int total cost equals, and I've already actually written my formula in my flowchart, so that's nice. Oh, I called it children. I didn't call it child. Children times child cost plus there we go. Had lots of errors. They clean up when you put a semicolon sometimes, so that's nice. And we can do our J option pane. And we wanted to print your total cost is, we'll put a $ to make it look fancy, plus total cost. So we can run our program. We'll run it 2 times. It says there's an error. Although I don't see one. So I'm just going to run it and see if it'll let me run my program. Oh, look. I see it. I put adults down here, but then down here I said adult. Yikes. So what I want to do, this happens all the time. Sometimes you forget what you call something. So I'm just going to go down, and every time I talked about adults, which I think is just here and here, there we go. You just want to go fix it real quick and make sure you use the same word for everything, because Java doesn't know the difference between adult and adults. It's crazy, but they don't. So let's try it again. Hey, look, it's running. Let's see if it works. So let's just do an adult-only session first. So let's say we have 4 adults. Oops. We have 4 adults. We're going to have 0 kids. So that means we should have an indoor session. And 4 times 40 would be $160. Good. I have an indoor session. It's $160. Fantastic. And our program's done. Okay, this one will be a little bit more complicated. Let's say I have 1 adult and 1 child. That means that I would have to do the outdoor session, and 50 plus 75 is $125. So let's see, if I have 1 adult and 1 child, I get $125. I have 1 adult, 1 child. I have an outdoor session, $125. Fantastic. One more. Let's try 4 adults and 1 child. So 4 adults will be a $200 session because it's going to have to be outside. The 1 child would be $175, so it's $275. And we're adding $5 per person, which would be $25 more dollars, so we come up to $300. So if I run it with 4 adults and 1 child, it should be a $300 total with an outdoor session. So I'm going to run 4 adults, 1 child. Good. I have an outdoor session. That's $300. Fantastic. Okay, so that was turning your flowchart into code, and so you guys are going to do that for Peaky Caterer. And if you have questions, send me an email. I'd love to help you out. Bye.